Hey Wargamers, KhadorGuy09 here, and this is just going to be a quick video discussing, with me sharing my thoughts on Khador Man of War troopers. So it'll be my thoughts on them to start with, and at the end I'll show you an army list that is based around a Man of War theme that I'm hoping to use tomorrow, so hopefully there'll be a battle report of it up very shortly after posting this one. Now, I'm going to be honest here, my general opinions on Man of War troopers is I don't like them. It's for several reasons. They're slow. I mean, speed 4 for heavy infantry. I mean, I know they're heavy infantry, but come on, that's the same as a heavy warjack. Come on, give us speed 5, you know. Also, well, they're slow. They're pretty expensive. So the demo corps and the shock troopers, so that's the big hammers, at the halberds are 9 points for 5 for the max unit, which is, you know, it's 9 points. You can get a lot of other models for 9 points. You know, a lot of other very good models. Also, they lack of weapon master. I know people say, oh, you don't need weapon master for you know, for them to be good, and that's true. I mean, these shock troopers in the demo corps are power 14s, but it's just getting the 2 dice regularly. I mean, 3 on the charge if you can get the charge. I mean, but there's only they got reach. 9-inch threat range isn't huge for infantry. I mean, whereas you look at other, you know, regular troops, they can have, you know, an 11-inch threat range if they got reach. There are ways of speeding them up, and this is what the army list I'm about to show you is based about. So basically, I don't like them because they're too slow, they're a bit too expensive, and they don't hit as hard like on their own. You need to buff them up for them to hit hard. Now, I've just got in my army, or in my collection, I've got shock troopers and demo corps. I do not have the bombardiers, because frankly at 11 points, that's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous waste of points for what they do. I mean, what is it? They got the AoEs, power 14s, which is nice, but rat 5, very middling rat. I mean, you're going to be lucky to hit stuff because you want to be moving as well, so you're not going to get to aim. So unless you're shooting jacks or really heavy infantry, then you're not really going to hit. I mean, their chain blades, PS13 is okay, but I mean, the fluff it says they can design to rip through the hull of a warjack, and to be honest, I really just don't see that reflected in their stats with PS13. I mean, they got critical shred, but sorry, I don't know what the odds of getting a critical are on 2 dice, but it's not particularly high, I don't think. I'll have to look that up. If you know, please drop it below in the comments. So yeah, so just discount bombardiers completely for 11 points, far too expensive. So that's my initial thoughts. Now, I was speaking to some guys at the club, some other guys who also play Khador, who know a bit more than me, and we're talking about Man of Wars and how to make them better. And so the army list I'm going to show you now basically revolves around the Man of War demo corps and the Man of War shock troopers, and making them, you know, trying to make them viable. But they require a lot of assistance to do it, as you'll see in a sec. So I better show you my army now. Okay, so this is the 35-point Man of War themed list that I've come up with. So I'll just quickly talk you through it. It's got eIrusks there. Apologies for him being headless, one-armed and not painted. Do that as soon as I feel like it. He's got a destroyer in his battle group. He's got a full unit of shock troopers, full unit of demo corps, the Great Bears, an Iron Fang Kovnik there, and a squad of Doom Reavers. Now, I chose eIrusks for a couple of reasons. One is he gives all warrior models tough while in his control range, which is nice. He also has martial discipline, so all small and medium-sized infantry models can move and see through each other as if they weren't there, which is really nice because you don't have to worry about people blocking each other and not being able to squeeze your model through a little gap by a millimeter, which can be really annoying. His spells are good. Battle Lust, which is a great spell, and because he's got 7 focus, it means he can keep an upkeep spell and then cast Battle Lust on 2 units, which is great for when you're getting into combat. So yeah, Battle Lust gives you an extra melee damage die, so it doesn't count as boosted, so if they're charging they still get the boosted on top of that, which is really nice, so they can have like 4 dice on the charge. Yeah, so basically this revolves around the Man of Wars. So the way I'm envisaging this working is having the Man of War shock troopers at the very front, and then everything else behind, shielded behind them, apart from probably the Devastator, because it doesn't really need it. Now everything in this army is fearless, so we don't have to worry about the Doom Reaver's abomination causing fear checks. Yeah, so everything behind the shock troopers. Now I usually put Doom Reavers up front, but they're a bit squishy, they're a bit of a glass cannon, so keep them behind, and they can charge through your own men anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So yeah, there are a couple of ways to make the shock troopers faster. eIrusks has a spell called Tactical Supremacy, which means at the end of everyone's activation they get to advance an additional 3 inches, which is really nice. Also, the Kovnik has an action called Shield March. So it's an action, so he can't do anything else if he does it on a unit. But it means that if a unit does the shield wall order, they get +2 movement. So combined with Tactical Supremacy on the shock troopers, they can march up 9 inches in shield wall, which is really neat. So there'll be armor 21, 8 boxes each, which is a really nice solid wall for everything else hanging out behind it. Yeah, so eIrusks has some other useful spells. Airburst is a particular favourite of mine for getting, because it doesn't need line of sight either, and ignores stealth, elevation, concealment, maybe not elevation, but definitely cover and concealment. Good for taking out those squishy, annoying solos that can ruin your day. So yeah, the idea of this army is basically the shock troopers to shield everything else to advance up behind, and then using eIrusks' feat, which gives everyone, well, forces everyone to stand up who's knocked down, which is great, and gives everyone Pathfinder, which is brilliant. So you can ignore walls, you can ignore forests. Oh yeah, his feat allows everyone to ignore forests and clouds as well. So it doesn't matter if they, other side of a forest, hiding in walls, anything like that, you can just get to them, and then with Battle Lust they can hit really nice and hard. It also debuffs the enemy, it stops them, they suffer -2 speed, so it means the enemy can't charge because they've got a speed impediment. And what else does it do? It means they can't give or receive orders, so that means they can't charge as well, but that's really neat. Also he's got Fire for Effect, which boosts the attack and damage of each ranged attack, of the first ranged attack a model does, so that obviously goes on the destroyer. So he'll just be sniping, basically moving up alongside, and maybe getting stuck in with his axe if need be. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think I've covered everything I wanted to say about this army. It's nice you've got some weapon masters in there with the Great Bears and the Doom Reavers. Yeah, obviously the Demo Corps they can do Icebreaker or backswing attacks, which are good. And the Great Bears have backswing as well. Just be careful with backswing, because if you declare you're going to do a backswing attack, you have to make the 2 attacks. So if you destroy the enemy in the first attack, and there isn't another enemy model nearby, but there's a friendly model, you have to hit the friendly model. So just be aware of that when you're judging that. So yeah, so I'm going to play with these tomorrow. It's only a 35-point list. If I was expanding it to 50, I don't know, keeping it in the Man of War theme, I'd probably take some battle mechanics with the guy who can, with the UA, who means they can repair Man of Wars and stuff, and maybe some Winter Guard as well. But yeah, my camera's about to run out of battery, so I better wrap this up. So yeah, look out for the battle report with these guys, and I'll probably do a post-game thing as well, just my thoughts on how they performed. Cool, bye.